What's up, wonderful world of YouTube? It's your boy Alfredo. So I'm here with another video. This time I'm going to talk to you about my mirrorless camera, basically my moneymaker, which is the Sony A7r3. This is not my first mirrorless camera. The one that I had was a Sony A6300. I bought both of those on the gray market. The A6300, I flipped it because I got it cheaper because it was in the gray market. Sold it, got the money to buy this one to help pay for it, and yeah, I bought this one like a month before my daughter was born, which was in 2019. This camera's pretty badass. First, I couldn't afford to buy a lens, so I used an adapted Nikon 50mm 1.8D autofocus lens, but when it was adapted on here it was manual. But I know all too well about shooting manual because my first camera was a D5000, so yeah. So this camera's pretty great. 42 megapixels. You know, just Google the specs. You know, you're not here to hear the specs, you're here to see the photos. So let me just talk to you a little bit about this lens right here. This is the Zeiss 55mm 1.8. Pretty great lens. The lens in the front, it's like a spherical or something. It like dips in. Pretty cool. Let's see that autofocus. Well, yeah, it's a great lens. This is Sony's second sharpest lens that they have ever produced. This lens is almost 10 years old. All metal. You hear that? That's fucking metal. The lens hood isn't metal like the Zeiss lens that I have for my Nikon, but other than that, everything's metal. It's crazy sharp. I'm going to show you guys photos that I've taken with this lens right now, actually. So let me show you some photos. So as you can see, this is no run of the mill lens. It produces beautiful portraiture, great landscapes. Honestly, this is just a great all-around lens because once it's on this full frame body, it's really light, it's really small. So yeah, highly recommend getting this. Honestly, I was thinking about selling this lens and then getting the G Master 1.2, but honestly, it's just so small. The rendering is just absolutely fucking stunning. I mean, it'd be ridiculous if I were to sell this just to get something that's like 2 stops better in low light. But honestly, with these mirrorless cameras, it doesn't really matter. You know, it's more like, oh, look at me, I have a G Master, so cool. I mean, I have a G Master, but only because I love shooting landscapes. But let's continue. I digress. So this was the second lens I purchased. By the way, I got this lens for a goddamn steal. I think I got it for like $250. Normally they sell for like almost a G brand new. So I got it from this dude cheap. I'm always looking for deals. This lens, it's 1.4 85 millimeter. This thing's a fucking hunk of glass. It's huge. Like I said, you can see the difference right here in size. If it focuses, there you go. See? Look at that. This is why I'm telling you the 55 is great to just walk around everywhere. It's great for street work. But this lens, the 85, it's a Samyang 85mm 1.4. I didn't have the money for the G Master, and I'm hoping for a version 2 because I actually like using this for portrait work, even for car photography. This thing it's sick. Only problem with Samangs, you guys, is when you look at the front lens element, you can see that there's yellow. This isn't G Master quality. I mean, it's razor sharp. It's phenomenal. But when you shoot this behind light, it just, the background just, you lose crazy contrast. Everything gets washed out. This sucks in when there's backlight. Like the Zeiss, it does pretty good in backlight, but it has terrible chromatic aberration. But I mean, other than that, that's honestly like a perfect lens. This one just, it sucks. It's a cheap lens. I got this for like 200 bucks, but normally brand new they're like 450. But still, it's a great lens. Don't steer away from getting this, especially because you'll be saving money and you'll be able to shoot an 85 millimeter prime at 1.4. It's ridiculous. I'm going to be showing photos actually of this right now, so you guys can just see like how beautiful it produces in terms of portraiture work. So please enjoy these photos, you guys. Now, the last lens and the most recent purchase for this camera is the Sony G Master 24mm 1.4. Now this thing right here, boy, crazy sharp at 1.4. It's ridiculous. It's really fast because it's obviously a Sony lens, so they work together hand in hand. Even in low light, it does really well. I mostly got this to shoot landscapes, but I've been using it for a lot of car photography. Once I slap on a polarizer in the front, man, this thing, it fucking produces crazy photos. Just even at 1.4, it's just ridiculous. I usually stop it down though when I do car photography, but it's ridiculous. I've done some portraiture work with it. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of hard to use wide angles in portrait work. You gotta have to keep the subject in the center, because if you shoot the subject on the sides, then it's you can see like a distortion. But let me show you guys how awesome this lens is. So as you can see, these are some of the images that I've taken with my my 24 GM. It's a great lens. My copy has had some issues where the bokeh is not perfectly circular. When you're buying GM, they basically try to make everything circular in terms of the bokeh. That's what you're kind of paying for. These ones were not perfectly circular. I don't know if it's just my copy or that's just what this lens does. And some slight onion ringing at times. I've read that Sony, they don't really, their lenses aren't perfect. Like when they were made in Japan, everything, you know how Japanese are, everything's just very clinical, perfect. You know, before it leaves the shop, they're more about demanding respect and how they produce their items versus like something like made in Taiwan. They don't have that cultural background. No disrespect there, that's just how it is. So yeah, so be careful when you guys get your copies of whatever lenses. So yeah, as you can see, this lens produces great photos though, regardless, great rendering, very sharp even at 1.4. So yeah, so these are the three lenses that I use for usually my paid work. I don't really carry my A7r3 on me. Usually my D700 I carry it when I'm walking. It's my daily. You can call it my daily. This is not my daily, my A7r3. But I mean, other than that, this camera's perfect. The only thing I don't like about it are the 42 megapixel files. They're fucking huge. They made my phone run hella hot for like 2 years until I had the money to buy a spec'd out computer. So yeah, if I could go back, I'd probably get like an A7S2, an A7S3. They're more for video purposes, but 12 megapixels honestly is all I need. Usually when I take a photo, I have my compositions already in mind once I look at it in the viewfinder, and that's the shot I want. So I don't ever crop anything. The great thing about this camera, you can crop, but usually I'm like 90% of the time my composition is in and locked in, so I get the full file. So yeah, you guys, if I were you guys, get an A7 III. Don't go more than 24 megapixels because you're gonna have your phones running hot, like burning. But yeah, you guys, so let me know what camera do you use. Do you use mirrorless, or do you guys have a DSLR? My next video, I will be showing you guys my D700 and photos that I've taken with it. I've shot at a wedding with it already before, and this one. My D700 was my second camera. But anyway, you guys, what do you guys shoot? I'm going to put my Instagram down below so you guys can see the photos that I've produced with my film cameras and my digital cameras. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Please comment, subscribe. I know this channel's new, you know, everything ain't fancy, you feel me, but I'm trying. So when I got the time from being a dad, I try to do this. Like right now I got my daughter over there, so watching TV, which normally I try not to do. So, you know, holla at your boy. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great one, you guys. Stay up and go out and shoot. Adios.